Hi, this is Kendra from Pencil and Pigment, and today I'm going to be talking about my planner life, the things that help me organize my world, and where this leads me to for 2026. Now I know it's only July, we are halfway through the year, but I feel like forewarned is forearmed. Like, this is sort of the lull before the storm where different brands and companies sort of kick off their releases and their teasers for all the different planners and things they're going to show and sell towards the end of this year around September, October. One Book July, I've mentioned this before. One Book July is where folks that have a huge planner system or organizing system use one book for the entire month to sort of see what's helpful, what isn't helpful, what they can live without, what they can't live without. That's something to keep in mind. So if after this video, or you want to end this video right now, it's fine, and type into YouTube One Book July and see what that's about. It's very fascinating, the things people learn about themselves when they condense their whole planning system to one book. I didn't do that. I can't do that. I'm going to explain what all this madness is. Okay, we'll just start somewhere, anywhere. Like, why does she have so many books? Like, I do. I have so many. This is my planner life. One of these is redundant. I know that, but it was super fun. And then this leads me to what 2026 is going to look like and what I'm going to add. I know. You're like, please don't add anything. That's a lot. It is a lot. Okay. This is an appointment book. It's very small. It's like A6 size. And let me find something I can show you. Basically, it's just a monthly calendar spread. Gosh, that looks really washed out. Just a calendar spread, and then in the back there are note pages. This is 2023 to 2026. So obviously I'm keeping this through. It only goes to June of 26, so I will be ordering another one. But I just put down appointments in here. So who needs their teeth cleaned? Replacing the refrigerator, water filter, like getting our cars tuned up, like all that stuff is just in here. My husband and I have 3 kids. They're all teenagers. We have a lot of appointments, okay? This is not something I can get rid of. Again, I am more traditional. I am more paper, and that is for memory retention. Like, I remember things and know things are coming up in the back of my mind if I write it down. I'm just old school. My husband's very digital. He lives in a digital world where he has meetings and things, and then other teammates and bosses can add meetings to his calendar and schedule of events. So he's very digital, I'm very analog. Let's keep going. This is my journal. This is a moleskin. This is the 400 expanded. A lot of people hate this because of bleeding and ghosting. I have done, boy, I can't even show you a page. I write real small, but you can kind of see the lines. I don't know what to tell you. I can't really show it. I also have a habit tracker. I have a free printable if you're interested. This fits traveler's size. And I have it stack my health things and things I want to keep track of to my daily, nightly journaling. And I'm on the 3rd one of these, so I've been journaling every single day for over 800 days since they're 400 pages a piece. This is definitely something I'm going to continue on with. I am an art channel. I do a ton of drawing and painting and all those things and creating, but I am a firm believer that your physical and mental health are directly tied to your creative health, your creative motivation, your inspiration, the will and want. Even if creative stuff is just like a fun once in a while hobby for you, getting that need and that desire and that itch to want to create or craft or whatever medium and services you choose to do all that fun stuff on, having things that help with your mental health and like anxiety and tension and just putting your feelings on paper can be so helpful. So this stays, all this stays. This is, we homeschool. We have 4 years left. We are homeschooling high school. Our twins are entering 9th grade. Our eldest is going to be entering senior year, 12th grade. So this is Travelers, and I use a blank monthly. I'm trying to think if I can show you something. Okay, I can show you September. September is really blank because this is the first day of school for next year, and I'll be starting a new one of these. So this is how I keep track of curriculum, attendance, all the things I have to keep track of. Homeschool in the United States works differently in that every state has a different set of laws of what you have to keep track of. This is something that I will use for another 4 years, and then if a kiddo wants this for their own planning for college or work or whatever, I will give this to a kid. So this is something that's temporary. I bought this. This was a knockoff off Amazon, and it was like, I don't know. I bought this over, oh gosh, a while ago. I can't even remember, maybe 7, 8 years ago. It was like $10. It is leather. It is dark green leather. Yeah, so if a kid wants this when I'm done, they can have it. But this is something that we have to have by law for being a homeschool. So yeah, that stays. This is something redundant. So this was something I did. I took a Dave Austin Roses catalog, and I have a whole playlist if you're curious. And I created a planner and had printables, and I collaged this, and it was just a really fun collage project that I started last summer when I was talking about planners and seeing if I could make one and save myself some money, because I have spent some money on planners. And I typically only buy like one traditional planner for my YouTube, for my art, and I just feel like the price of those is really high, even though I only buy one. So I don't have planner haul videos. I have planner tour videos, like if you want to see how I filled a planner at the end of the year. I have a little playlist of those, but I don't go crazy buying tons of planners just because I did a no-buy art supply in 2022. Again, there's a huge playlist if you're curious of what I learned and what I did. And then since then, I've been doing a low-buy art supply. So I consider a planner for my art, for my YouTube, to be a part of my art supplies, since it's something that keeps me organized and keeps me on goal for doing different drawing challenges and things. So I decided to try and make one. I made one. It was tons of fun. But then I realized this is a gallon leather with a Nolte cover. I will link as many of these products as I can in the description box. Some things have been discontinued. I'm doing my best, but I literally use and keep things well past like creation date. So a lot of stuff ends up being discontinued, and I apologize for that. But I realized that I could create my own planner system, sort of doing a Hobonichi Weeks knockoff with this. And I have a video about it, but essentially I just divide pages in half and write what I've done. So instead of making a goal of what I want to do, I'm celebrating what I've already done. And then I have sort of monthly like notes of what to draw and the things I'm interested in, and then I do a wrap up of how I felt about it and what I accomplished. So I essentially created my own Hobonichi Weeks, and it's just because I got tired of drawing across grids and graph lines and stuff. So this one's redundant. This was just a really fun collage project. I won't be making another one just because I have this, and this is going to last me 4 years at least, the way I'm going about using this. It's 400 pages if you use both sides, but because of how I use a bunch of products, there's a ton of bleeding and ghosting, and I'm just using it one-sided. So kind of a my journal, my choice type of deal. So for 200 pages, I think this will last me 4 years. So I won't be buying another planner for my YouTube, for my art, because I have this one. I'm making this one work, and this is a B6. Yeah, and stickers, Etsy. So this is something that's not going to carry on to 2026. It's just going to be this one, and that's fine. I only need the one. It's all good. This is another Moleskine 400 expanded. This is a hardcover. This is the dot grid, and this is my rolling bullet journal to-do list. And I think I can show you, look, stickers. I live a very sticker life. So this is like this month. So this was read as my future notes for the month, gardening, things for the kids, sort of the big items I'd like to get done. And then this is my rolling to-do list for the month. And some of these are tasks and some of these are massive projects. So at any given time, I have, you know, like 45 to 70 things per month, and I roll over at least 20 every single month because they're huge, huge projects. And I like to think that like some of these take an hour, but some of these are going to take weeks. So that's something on my end that I am mindful of when I'm creating this. But I've been doing this since February of 24. So I've been doing this for over a year of just, and I alternate between green and blue just for a little bit. It's just Bic pen. There's nothing fancy about this. But this is my rolling to-do list. And then the back has YouTube notes. So I'm using it both directions. So when I go to do a video and I talk about all the things I need to link, the products I need to link, as I'm rewatching and editing my video, I make a note of things to put in the description box so you can find stuff and I don't forget anything. So even though this is 400 pages and I've been using it over a year, I've only used like maybe 50 pages of it for my rolling bullet journal. But this is again one of those things where I can easily lay in bed at night and go, oh, you know what I need to do? Oh, I so forgot to do this. I need to remember to do this later. I don't do that anymore. I have it all written down from huge things to absolutely small things, so my brain doesn't have to sit there and try and remember all the stuff at night and stay constantly on, because sleep is important. This is a mishmash, and I'm trying to think, oh, okay. This is from Hand Stitched Leather, and I purchased this very specifically. I gave them the guidelines of what I wanted. So this is where I cull all my habit trackers. This is where I have meditations, things for like self-hand massages, because I do hours of drawing every single day, and I've drawn every single day for years. So taking care of my hands as they are a tool is very, very important. I have self-care notes. I have stress relief notes. This is all just like mental health issue items that I have culled and put together in this book. So this is definitely something that's going to carry over and keep going. So between all these things of running a house, having a YouTube, having 3 kids, taking care of my mental health, and homeschooling, this is my planner system. And you can see why I didn't do one book July. Like one, this is a state requirement to have certain things covered. But I would lose track of where certain things are. And one of the things I love about this is how organized all this is. One of my pet peeves personally is losing stuff, because I don't have time to constantly search and go around and try and find the things that I've lost. So everything is well organized. It's well put together. Yeah, this is pretty much how I keep track of my life. And I get that this is a lot of things. Some people have planners and journals and things for keeping track of movies they love to watch, or books that they have read, or their health journey can be its own specific planner. My health journey is very, very regimented for my health and my things. We have a lot of health issues in our house, autoimmune disorders and things. So nutrition is a huge part of our lives. Exercise is a huge part of our lives. It's something that we cannot afford to slip on. So hydrating, taking vitamins, sleeping well, eating right, exercising, like these aren't negotiable things. These aren't things that I can flex and like move around and change up in planners and things. I'm not working towards any specific goal, because it's not, it's a lifestyle, it's a journey. There's no destination point. There's no like, hey, once you reach this weight, you're good, you're done. This is your life. For the rest of your life, you're keeping strong, you're keeping well, you're keeping healthy, and then you can then take care of the other folks that aren't well or healthy. So moving forward into 2026, there is one thing I want to add, and you're like, good grief, why? I don't know. I thought I would add to my joy. And what I'm looking at doing is, because this can't change, a lot of these things just can't change. With my yearly journal, and again, it's every 400 days I fill a new one of these, I'm thinking about adding a visual journal where this is just all words, and I literally go through 2 to 3 Bic pens a year, using them up. Yeah, I read a lot. I'm thinking about adding a 5-year Hobonichi, but like an older one that I could find gently used, or somebody like bought it and changed their mind on eBay is kind of where I'm looking. So I'm not looking to pay full price for anything. I'm not interested in brand new, crisp out of a box type of stuff. But adding a like art therapy component to my journaling. So when I look at, or when you look at different web pages getting ready to launch their 2026 planners, look at the system you already have in place. Look at the things you already use. Look at the reasons of why you use them. I get that I have a very specific life and a very specific lifestyle. A lot of that is privilege, and that is not missed on me. The other thing is, like, I am a parent, so that is very specific. I'm a spouse, that's specific. Having lots of health issues is very specific. Like, autoimmune diseases take up a chunk of your time. It is a part-time job when dealing with healthcare professionals and insurances and pharmacies, especially if things aren't managed or you can't find the right medicines. And being a YouTuber, being an artist, like, all these things are very specific to me. So, like, the extreme of my life would be someone single in college. They would not need such a huge planner system. They might be able to do an all-in-one book, and they're just looking for an all-in-one, end-all be-all thing, and you could totally make your own. I'm just looking for longevity and being able to keep to a budget. And this was not an overnight thing. This was not, this needs to be said, because this wasn't something that I started out with right away. I didn't like open up my life and go, all right, 6 books, we're doing it. This is how we're getting through the day and getting through our life. This was a slow build. I have always had one of these. I have had an appointment book that's just monthly calendars for remembering appointments. I'm trying to think, for well over a decade. And I have my old ones, and they are messy, but that's because they are used and loved. So this was something I always had. We started homeschooling in the fall of 2019, and this was added. Planners I started in 2021. So these were all slow, very slow to build. I started journaling again 800 days ago. A little over 800 days ago, working on mental health things and anxiety and stress levels as health issues popped off in the last couple years. Again, this is a very slow build, and I think this is the way to do planners, and the way to introduce like organization into your life is to start with one. And the temptation and the problem is with a lot of planner haul videos and a lot of showcasing of people going around shopping and buying, and the companies. You are being marketed to. You are the person, if you are watching this video, you are 100% the person that these companies are trying to market to. So their photos are going to be excellent. Their videos of them showing their products are going to be beautiful. They're going to be engaging. They're going to be in colors that grab you. And the outside may be much more beautiful than the inside. And that's because they're trying to get you to purchase their stuff. And in doing so, a lot of people purchase more than they need. And so my best piece of advice for going forward into 2026 is to start with one. Start with one thing that will genuinely help, and keep that. And keep that for as long as you need that. And if you constantly, day after day, week after week, month after month, are like, oh my God, you know what I do need and I don't have it is XYZ, then you buy XYZ. And if it's sold out from one company, you know next year to make a note, hey, it's time to pick up a second book. Like, our lives change, our lives evolve. We move through seasons and things through our lives, and we have to have a planner system that can allocate and move towards that. And then as things change again, we have to lose the things we no longer need. Like, when I'm done homeschooling, I'm done with this. I do not want to keep extra books that I'm not using just for the sake of keeping a thing. I'm not a collector, I'm a creator, and I have to have things a certain way. If it's taking up space, it's because it's a necessity. Okay, I'm overly practical in every aspect of my life. I know it's not fun, which is why I do stickers. Stickers is my fun thing, okay? That's how I bring a little spark of joy and extra, like, you know, just being extra to my practicalness. And I get that about me. So when you're looking at purchasing a planner, really sit down and make a decision matrix. This is one of my favorite things. Make a decision matrix of pros and cons. And you're going to do pros and cons of buying the item and pros and cons of not buying the item. So when you're done, you're going to have 4 columns of, do I need to have this? If I buy it, what am I bringing to my life? And if I buy it, what is the negative this brings to my life? Like maybe adding more planners adds more pressure, adds more stress. Maybe you feel guilt when you spend money on a product that you're not using or that doesn't fit your needs. Planners shouldn't be bringing guilt. The only thing planners and organizers and things like this should be doing is ease. Ease of stress, ease of pressure, ease of anxiety. There should be no guilt attached to purchasing the things that you actually need. And don't get me wrong, I have gone through planners that didn't fit my system. I really, really have. Like this was from Typa, this is from Etsy, this is a recycled book. It was a lot of fun. It wasn't necessarily what I needed. It had bullet journal pieces in the back, but I moved on from this. This was just a little too much planner. I did a Hobonichi Weeks. This is 22. This was their, it's like a tie material, and I love tigers. I can't move past tigers. I love them so much. Anyways, and I did art on one side, and I made notes of what I was doing on the other side, and drew, and just did my best life in this thing. And filled the back as well with collage elements and writing and making notes for drawing challenges. But again, this is drawing across grids, and I don't know. For certain things, I don't want to do that. So for planning, I don't want to draw across a grid. For art therapy, I don't think I mind the idea of it. 2023, I did a Midori MD. I drew a rabbit on it because it was lunar year of the rabbit. And then I drew rabbit food, like things rabbits eat, in the planner, just with some colored pencils or whatever. Again, I have planner tours. And then the back is all lined paper. And I am slowly still filling this with notes. So I keep track of my low buy budget in the back of this one planner. And then 2024, I bought this Midori Hibino. I have an hour-long tour where I flip through this like as best as possible. I have doodles and a whole doodle reference library on the left and drawings on the right of things I created. So I went through this whole planner and filled this whole thing. Like I filled every page. Every single page got filled in this. This was way too much planner for me. I didn't need all this, but so I ended up turning it into a sketchbook. This was $69 plus tax. This is way too much money for a planner. Like, I think $50 for a planner is too much money. I just do. And if I'm spending that amount, I want it to last years. So when I bought the gallon leather, because it ships from Turkey and I'm in the United States, gosh, I don't even know what these retail for. But with shipping, this ended up being closer to almost $50. So if I can make this last 4 years, then that is worth it. Plus, you know, stickers and an $8 cover. So I'm trying to get more bang for my buck and figure out like what I need, what I want, and then understanding that I'm being marketed and sold, like upsold to by all these companies, and then understanding like the fear of missing out and the additional pressures that are on YouTube. Because often, and I do the same thing, I go on YouTube and I want to see videos. I'm very curious as to what companies are coming out with for the coming years. And it's not to purchase so much as it is to inspire. Like, how can I find the right thing for me with some of the ideas of the layouts that they have created? So now I'm just like trying to emulate and figure out what'll work and what doesn't work. Could I combine some of these? I think it would be very messy and I would have a crazy tab system to try and find stuff. Like if I was doing my journal inside my rolling to-do list with meditation notes, like it would be a lot of different tabs trying to find things. And this is so much easier to grab as long as I'm constantly filling stuff. The second I'm not using a thing anymore, or it doesn't feel like a necessity anymore, the purpose of the thing is going to change. So if I don't ever need this, then this is gifting to a kid. I don't have a lot of things to like, this is so strange. When you think about your legacy, I know this is such a tangent, but this is how my brain works. When I think about my legacy and what I leave behind, because I'm not going to live forever, I think about the stuff I own, and everything I own is absurdly practical. I don't have anything to like hand down or gift down. Like I have art supplies, but I use my stuff up. So there may be some paints left and then a couple leather products, and that's about it. And so I'm really glad that these are nice leather products, and I hope my kids can get some use out of them and find a purpose or gift it to their kids or a friend or whoever can use it. Like I'm trying to think about some of these things when I purchase stuff. So as these things get full and used up, I just continue moving on and keep going. I may journal for the rest of my life, and that's kind of cool. It may not be every day, so this may slow down in practice, but this is something that I find deeply therapeutic and just very, very awesome. Again, right now, all 3 kids live with us. Eventually that will not be a thing. I don't know if I will ever not need an appointment book, but I imagine this slowing way, way down. And maybe I can combine some of these. So as I enter a new season in my life, this is not so crazy, because this looks crazy to me on screen. Like, this looks like a lot of books. Again, this is all their purposes, but I don't watch movies very often, so keeping a log of that would be strange. I'm on Goodreads and digitally keep track of my books, because my goal this year was to read 50. I've read over 140 already, and those are just the ones that I can remember to like log in. I read a lot of books. So this is my planner system, and going into 26, I'm going to try and add one thing, but know this was a slow evolution, and this has taken decades to add different pieces and figuring out what my need is. I didn't go in watching someone's video going, oh, they have 5 books and they use a book for this and a book for that, and I love all those things, I'm going to buy 5 books and do that. The amount of overwhelm I would feel trying to introduce a 5-book system into my life, if I didn't have one going into it prior, would be stressful and pressure, and it would just feel like too much. So write down, again, a decision matrix of what you have, what's working, what isn't working. Maybe try 1 book July. I know July's already started. You can start it any day you want. The date is arbitrary. You could do 1 book August if you wanted to. But if you want to see the results other people have had, in the YouTube search bar, just type in 1 book July, and you will learn what other folks are doing, because the planner industry has absolutely bloomed and exploded, and YouTube has helped with that explosion, and different creators have helped promote that and keep it big and exuberant. And yes, it's super like interesting to watch someone open up a box of all the products they've purchased. But then when you go back 6 months later or 1 year later and they're talking about what did and didn't work, having a product that didn't work that you spent money on it's tough. Like, that's a tough thing. I'm not a planner channel, so if you're watching a planner channel going through something like that, know that that's part of their career. That's part of their job, is to have a huge amount of planners. This is something I use. Not one of these doesn't get used. A lot of these are every day. This one's once a week. This one is monthly that I refer to almost every day, and this is every 2 weeks. And like, a lot of these are every single day. And I don't show the insides of these because that's not what my channel really is about. And I'm a very private person, and I protect kids at all costs. That's just like on principle. So as Hobonichi and as some of these companies, Sterling Ink and Wonderland, I don't know, something, 222, that one. As those companies start publishing and promoting their things, keep in mind, yes, it's beautiful, but it may not be for you. And really sit on those feelings, especially if you're on a budget or a limited income and you're feeling pressure to break that. And my channel's all about sticking to a budget, especially for art supplies. really sit down and think, is this something that I could live without? Is this something that would help my life in a tremendous amount of ways? And really consider that before you make your purchase. And I know things sell out quickly, and that is playing upon the scarcity mentality of, well, I don't know how much of this I'll be able to use, but if I don't buy it now, I'll never get the opportunity. That's not necessarily true. You can find it on eBay, and yes, you could say hesitation cost and it costs more later, but sometimes I find these things on Amazon. Like I have found the one-piece Hobonichi planner on there, and I know some of those one-piece items sell out really, really quickly. So they do pop up months later from other folks buying a thing and not using it. I just don't want you to be one of those people that buys a thing and then it's not a success for you and you feel the stress and the pressure and stuff. So don't buy a thing you regret. Really slowly build up your planner system so it's a thing that works and helps you. So it's an aid. And it may be one of those things where you have to totally dip into the digital world to get the best of both worlds for your life. There's nothing wrong with digital planners, and I think some of them have costs attached to them, some of them don't. You'll have to research that because I am not up on any of the things digitally, but this is just my reminder to you and to myself. In the next few months, through October, we are going to be heavily marketed to as consumers. We are going to be shown all the beautiful covers, but keep in mind it is the inside pages that really matter. That is the value. The value is what's inside and what you put in to get out of it. So if you look at your timetable and the availability of your life and you're like, okay, well, I want 3 planners and they're going to be for these things in my life. Do I have time to put the work into them and sit down weekly or daily to do that? And if your life is popping off really, really fast, if you're moving at a fast pace and every day looks different and you don't know how much you can carve out of time, having a daily planner isn't going to be ideal. Maybe a monthly planner would be a little bit more beneficial. You would just really sit down and have an honest conversation with yourself, because fantasy self and reality self don't often have a lot of overlap on that Venn diagram. They just don't. So my fantasy self is, in the park painting, and reality self is at a desk minding my own business and getting down to work because I get too distracted in public and I can't get things done because I'd rather chat with people when they ask questions about art. So, and the same goes for having planners. Like, yes, this is beautiful. It's limited edition. It's, there's only so many and then they sell out. But let's look at the inside pages. And can I dedicate the time it takes to put into these inside pages to get the value of everything that I've culled and put together afterward, to get that organization afterward, to get my life sort of, feeling good and looking good and moving good. Because once you've planned your life and you've got it all going and you've got it all sorted, you can then move on to the things that really matter. And this isn't what matters. I mean, unless planners are your life, Maybe you're a planner company watching this, or maybe you're a planner on YouTube. Then that's part of your life, and you are the example and you're the exception that proves the rule, sort of. So just really, really be mindful that this isn't the end all be all when it comes to moving forward and moving in. And yeah, I'm going to be adding one new thing this year, so this becomes more, but I've had these things for years. And I'm so comfortable with these things, and I have time carved out to put into these things that I'm getting the value from these things. I hope this inspired you, gave you some ideas. I hope it was like a check-in, because I feel like I need the check-in, because I am super tempted by surfaces. That is my biggest temptation about myself. And a beautiful planner with a gorgeous cover absolutely is begging for me to buy it, and I won't be. So, again, I hope this helped. You know, if you want to put in the description box something unique that you do with a planner to give other people like inspiration, motivation, that would be absolutely awesome. I love looking at people's planners and planner videos because I find it so inspiring, yet I don't do any of that stuff. This is the stuff I do. I don't collage in a planner. I don't use a planner as an all-in-one. This is how I use mine, and it's very unique and specific to me. So when you watch someone else's video of them explaining why they purchased 3 planners or 12 planners, it is very specific to them in their life. So know that that's not necessarily something that applies to you and maybe your budget. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you got something out of it, maybe just a gentle reminder as I need to remind myself. And I hope you have an absolutely wonderful week, and I will talk to you later. Bye.